Welcome to Under the Lens. Come and enjoy an extraordinary, raw, and unfiltered podcast that delivers debate, discussions, and interviews about film, pop culture, and everything in between. Here is your host, film critic and journalist, Byron Lafayette.
Greetings all, and welcome to Under the Lens. I'm very excited that you've joined me today. I have a very special episode for you. I've been going through the archives of interviews that I've done over the years, and I found one in particular that I hadn't shared on my podcast before. And so I thought, starting out 2023, what better way than to have a great interview? So today I'm going to be presenting to you an interview that I did back in 2018, and this was right before the release of Deadpool 2. And it is with actor Stefan Kapičić. He played Colossus in Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. We had a really, really great conversation just about the process and how he got the role of Colossus, and what it was like filming the movie, what it was like working with Ryan Reynolds, some of his future plans, and just, really fun, information on comics and stuff. And it's a great interview. I'm very excited for you to be able to hear it. And I hope that you enjoy it. I did some editing on the interview to make it as current as possible. So don't worry as you're listening to it. There's not really a lot of dated references or anything like that. There's just a lot of great information, about the process of filming those movies, and just what it's like to be an actor, doing motion capture and things of that nature. So I really hope that you enjoy this interview with Stefan Kapičić.
Can you kind of tell me a little bit about the casting process that you went through to get the role of Colossus?
Is that I was doing a performance in Croatia in Dubrovnik, which people may know as King's Landing in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. So I just received some regular audition to self-tape myself, and I didn't know what that was because the working title was Wham. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe that's some George Michael kind of bit or whatever. And then it was for the role of Timur. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I did a few takes and I just sent it back, and I just focused on a play because I thought, as an actor, you receive so many of these things and you never know what are you going for in many situations. But then again, I received a call from 20th Century Fox, directed from Christian Kaplan at the time, and he was like, "We love you. Director loves the way you did this. Can you now change some of the things?" They still didn't tell me what's going on, but they changed some of the names, and I was like, "Okay," because I'm a comic book geek, and I'm like, 20th Century Fox is filming Deadpool at the moment, so it's possible that they want me for something, and I'm like, "Okay, let's see what this can be." They wanted a specific accent. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's only possibility that can be a Colossus, or it's definitely not Kraven the Hunter.
No, yeah.
So I was like, I would love to do him anyway. Mm-hmm. We even resemble a little bit. But the thing is, so I did, because I was geeking out, I did 140 takes, which I sent to my wife, my girlfriend at the moment, but now my wife, I sent to her. She was in the other city, so we needed to pick 4 of those 140 takes, and we decided but they were really close, and that was the famous monologue in the end of the Deadpool, in which when Colossus is trying to stop Deadpool from killing Ajax, the 4 or 5 moments monologue.
Oh yes, because I remember that scene. Yeah, so when he's talking about how to be a hero.
Yes, that was the thing. So we did 140 takes of that one.
Wow.
So then we sent it back, and I again started working on a play. But 20th Century Fox called back, and they said the director wants to meet you, and he wants to do a test shooting with you. It's for Deadpool, and it's you need to fly in right away. And I had a little gap between 2 performances, which was 3 days. Mm-hmm. So I flew from Dubrovnik to Los Angeles, arrived, slept that night, went to Box, met Tim Miller and producers and everybody, and we started working. It was supposed to be 4 hours, but it took like 9 hours because Tim loved it. Oh. And they said, like, we're gonna call you back and tell you what we decided in a few days. So I went back to the plane and then arrived 2 hours before my performance, and I just got into a costume, went to the stage, and I was like, oh my God, was this a dream or what this was? But thank God it wasn't a dream, because they called like 7 days after that and they said, you are Colossus. Oh. So my happiness, started, and my dream came true, because as a comic book geek, I always love to say that, playing Colossus is that's an Academy Award for my inner child, for my geek side. It's something that I made it in this way, and thank God that people love the way we made Colossus, and thank God that I'm reprising my role in a franchise like this huge franchise, and the whole world is crazy about Deadpool, which is beautiful, especially because it's an R-rated movie and it's a Deadpool genre. It's something like really that I sometimes I still think, is this a dream? Because Deadpool changed my life. My role of Colossus changed my life. I'm living the dream, traveling all around the world, being from Australia to China, Philippines to whole Europe, everywhere, meeting fans and doing Comic-Cons, and it's something unbelievable for me in so many ways.
Oh man, I bet. Oh, because I can just imagine like how exciting that must have been. Like you said, kind of knowing a little bit maybe what the role was going to be, and stuff. Do you do?
You know what? Because like for a lot of actors, they are not a comic book geeks, or like they know about it, but for them it's mainly a job. It's like a role. For me, it's both. It's a beautiful job and a beautiful role, but then again, it's a superhero, man. It's something that I was dreaming from, like the first moment that I grabbed when I was like 6 years old, when I grabbed my first Marvel comic, and that was Wolverine number 50 or something, the special edition with his claws tearing up the front page. So I'm a huge fan of the X-Men. I have like almost every single issue of the original series. Yeah, I have like 3. I just bought like the third one, giant size X-Men, the first appearance of Colossus, Storm, and Nightcrawler. And I got like mint issue, which is signed by late Dave Cockrum, who was the original artist of Colossus. That's like, it's
that's like priceless. Oh,
in my life, it's something that I would like protect with my life.
Oh, of course. Oh, that's incredible, man. Oh, that's cool. Do you do like the motion capture for Colossus as well as the voice?
Yes, I do, and I especially in the sequel, I did so much of everything, like regarding the acting and facial expressions, like everything that it's we work much more on like the differences between the differences in visual of Colossus.
Okay, very cool. Do you find that it can be a challenge to act when wearing the motion capture costume, like on set, or does that kind of not is that not an effect?
It's having the costume, having like this, cameras in your face, and all of these things. It's something new. It was something new for me, because I'm in this job for like 20 years, and I did like so much of the theater and TV shows and movies, but having this opportunity, and it's just a new experience. It's the same in act wise. I'm like working on all these things, but then again, you have like the post-production process, which lasts for so long, in which you have to like repeat all the things, do like so many of these efforts and things. So it's a beauty of making Colossus of Colossus, because it's a really complicated and really expensive process.
Oh, I can only imagine that it would be. Because it's just adding in all of the different elements of animation and everything. I can't imagine how much work that must take for everybody, you as the actor included. And we touched on this a little bit earlier, but who's your favorite comic book character?
Well, that's a tough question for a comic book.
I can imagine.
My life had some of the favorite characters. I'll tell you something that like I don't think the people in the States know that much, or if they know like some bad versions of them. But that was one of the characters that I was raised on. His name is like Dylan Dog, and it's like Italian character from Sergio Bonelli. They did like a movie about it, but it was a really bad movie. But anyway, if I go to my first love was always Batman. Something that you just go Batman or Superman when you're a kid, and I always went for Batman. But then I met the X-Men, and then Wolverine became my favorite one, and then the X-Men as a team, and then Colossus. He's a Russian, he's Slavic, I'm Slavic. So I have a connection to Colossus from when I was really little kid. So I knew everything about the character when that this happened. So I had so much knowledge about the whole universe and everything regarding the X-Men. So I have every Punisher, for example, especially the Punisher Warzone. When I was a kid, I loved that series, and later you just get as you're getting older, I'm a huge fan of Preacher. I'm a huge fan of Frank Miller's Sin City. I'm a huge fan of Alan Moore, and so specific characters are these ones that I mentioned, but it's a huge field, to choose from, and I love them all.
Oh, I can only imagine because I feel your pain, so to speak, there with all the different characters and different storylines and such. There's so many good ones. Oh man, how was it working with Ryan Reynolds on set? He seems like he's a pretty easygoing guy. I've never met him, but is he as easygoing on set as he seems to be in real life?
He's a god bless, and I'm not saying this just because he's I know him really well personally. He's a great person. He's a lovable guy, down to earth. He's extremely funny in person and humble. And he's always there to help you, to give you an idea. He's a master of improvisation and owns the character of Deadpool. So for him, it's really easy to do his job, but then again to think about you and see what maybe would be better, and to give you an advice or suggestion that you can take or not. And I always take, because it's always so crazy funny and it's so unique and original. And I had so much help from him, and of course from Tim Miller in the first one, and from the writers, from Paul Wernick and Red Reese. Those guys are amazing. So you have a God bless team behind you on Deadpool and Deadpool 2. It's something that you just cannot be wrong. You just cannot make a slip. You're so safe, and that safety that you achieve from these guys, it just makes you enjoy every single thing that you do and you create, and in the end you get the perfect thing like Deadpool 1, and now it's going to be Deadpool 2. You're going to see what we made, because whatever you saw through all these trailers and things, it's not even close to what you were going to see when you see the. I just cannot explain how happy and how proud and honored I am that I'm a part of this franchise, that I'm reprising my role from the first part, and that people are so in love with Colossus and with my work, and I'm just really blessed. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh yeah, because that's how I felt when I saw the first film and stuff, seeing Colossus. He felt like he was literally ripped from the pages of the comics. It was he was just completely come to life from that.
Comic accurate, exactly.
Man, from what I've seen, with the first film and such, Colossus is often kind of played as the straight man, the serious guy, to Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, and he's obviously never really that serious in the film, his character. Did you find, was it difficult sometimes not to laugh on set with some of those scenes that you guys did? 'Cause some of them were really very funny.
We always laugh with Ryan, but he's a huge professional, so he will never do something that can jeopardize your process or the way you're doing the thing. So he's so experienced, and he's so into when as I said, you have somebody who's extremely clever and extremely fast and witty, and he will make the joke, but that joke will not, jeopardize your performance. So that's the beauty of working with him.
That's very cool. That's awesome to be able to be surrounded by professionals that that are helping each other. That's very cool. Would you say, like, is there a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that you would like to share a scene with as Colossus?
Absolutely, Hugh Jackman. Well, he's not playing as Wolverine because about the fastball special, one of the most famous X-Men things, and it's Colossus. Getting Wolverine from his. How do you say that? When he throws Wolverine, that would be a beautiful thing to have and to see. But then again, from general Marvel universe, I would love if we could have this X-Men and Avengers together, for example. Unfortunately, it didn't happen in Infinity War, but that would be a great addition. I generally don't get into these political studio things. It happen, it will happen. But Colossus would be perfect, X-Men in every single movie that you have in Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they are a family. Right now, we live in different houses, but generally they are a family. And for me, as a comic book geek, and I'm just saying this as a comic book geek, I would love to see them all together, but that's something that's totally beyond my power. Or it's just like a wish. But Fox did such an amazing job, and I love the way Fox is handling this franchise. And to Fox that I have this opportunity, because Fox is my house, and whatever happens, I'll always be grateful for that studio that gave me this opportunity.
Oh no, definitely. Yeah, I've always been very impressed with how Fox has handled a lot of the X-Men, because a lot of the times, they seem like they allow kind of directors to kind of do their own thing, and kind of take elements from the comic books and everything to create really great works of art, really. Had a very successful television career and stage career in Croatia before Deadpool. What ended up making you decide to pursue acting in the United States?
Well, the thing is, I finished the Academy of Dramatic Arts in Belgrade in Serbia, and I started working a lot in theater, and I started doing some of the small little blink, you don't see me roles in some co-productions that were happening in that part of the world, and I had a chance to do a really small, almost as a cameo appearance in The Brothers Bloom, which was directed by Ryan Johnson, who is now known for the Star Wars.
Yes.
So I talked to Ryan a lot, and he's a great guy. And I saw him on a premiere here for the premiere of the Star Wars. So that was one of my first contacts with Hollywood, and directly. And then we did a movie called Tears for Sale, which was produced by Luc Besson, and that movie was doing really well in France and on festivals all around the world. So it came here to the States, and I got contacted by, some of the people here, and, why shouldn't you try? And that's a logical step, especially for somebody who's doing really well in Europe. And, of course, Hollywood is the top of the world. It's the most powerful industry. And I was 27, 29 at that time. It was 11 years ago. And I was yeah, I definitely need to try. I definitely need to, just see how that works in the state. I don't want to wake up when I'm 40 years old and, be why didn't you try when you could? So I left a really amazing career and started here from nothing, from zero. And that's a funny thing. That's something that people maybe even wouldn't believe me, but I have proof for that. So I did my first audition here for the TV show called Unit. I wasn't the SAG member. I just had some really nothing special managers, not strong managers, but so I went to my first audition, and it was Fox, which is really interesting because of the life circles like that. So my first studio audition in the United States was in the Fox studios, in which I'm filming not right now, but Deadpool's, and I went for the Unit and for the guest star role. It was it was David Mamet's show with Dennis Haysbert.
Yes, yeah, I was a huge fan of that show.
Yeah, yes, well, I booked my first role in the States, my first audition ever. And I was like, what's going on? Is this possible? Because I was even happy that I had a chance to go for the audition in 20th Century Fox Studios. So I booked my first role after I didn't even have a callback. They just booked me. So I became a SAG member, which was really hard a long time ago. And then the funny thing is I went for the other show right after that. It was, again, a guest star role, and it was Numbers. And I booked the second one. And I'm like, man, I'm born to live in the States. I'm booking my first 2 auditions, booked them both. Of course, after that came the recession, writer's strike, blah, blah, blah. I was working. I did one of my favorite shows of all time, 24. And I did a really great movie, Big Miracle, it was a nice family movie with Drew Barrymore and John Krasinski. And then, I was doing some show called Event or whatever. But, the crisis came, and I went back a little bit in Europe, and I wanted to stay 6 months because I got some TV show that I was supposed to do. And I did one, and then I did 14 projects in 2 years in Croatia. And then Deadpool thing showed up, and the rest is the legend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very true. The rest is legend. Oh, and do you have a favorite Colossus moment or line that you have done from Deadpool that's your favorite?
Well, definitely it's the final monologue, 4 or 5 moments. That's all it takes, because it's like a philosophy. It's really something that's true. It's something that really people, listen to, because that's all it takes, 4 or 5 moments. It's life lesson in so many ways, and it's something that that's the monologue that got me in the end, this role and this path. But then again, people always love, and they ask me always to do Colossus voice and do my favorite line, and then I always do breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and that shows you Colossus's character, because he cares, and he's a father figure, and he's just a proper, not a Boy Scout, that doesn't sound good. He's a old soul, old, he's a superhero in every single way that you can think about superhero. So Marvel responds to Superman just by just a Russian guy, a Red Sun, it's something that I really adored, that I have a chance to portray original real superhero as Colossus.
No, that's very true, and the way you've portrayed him and everything, you've really made him come to life a lot. I know he was one of my favorite characters from the first film, and I'm sure we'll be in the second one when I see it.
Oh yes, you will. Trust me. You will remember this interview when you watch the sequel. There are so much beautiful things that we made and that I made as Colossus. I'm really extremely proud with job in Deadpool 2. It's not a job, it's a dream.
Oh, excellent, man. My last question would be, if you could choose, and I'm sure you've gotten this question a lot, but if you could choose any film, any type of film universe, or any type of character that would be fun for you to play in the future, what would you like to play?
That's a tough question. The same as a character from the movie. I would love it. Who knows, what can happen in the future. If you ask me about the comic book movies, if I had to choose another character besides Colossus, I would love to play Kraven the Hunter. I would love to play maybe a villain next time in this world. But generally, I would love to go. I don't specifically can choose, but something which is more like fantasy thing. I don't want a specific character, but I would say something like Game of Thrones kind of world, something which is, with swords and fights and, big beards and blood.
Oh, man. Oh, well, Stefan, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. It was a pleasure.
Always, my friend. Always.
Oh, man. Well, definitely, congratulations on the success, because I know Deadpool 2 is going to be a huge success for you. The tracking is already off the charts for how well it's going to do.
That's true, because it's beautiful. I'm just, always waiting to see the end results, but everything that I'm listening to and I hear, it's more than we wish for. It's a beautiful, beautiful path that we're going on.
Oh, that's very cool, man. Well, like I said, I really appreciate your time, and definitely, hopefully, maybe in the future we'll get to talk again.
Thank you so much, my man.
All right.